The history of academic advising in the United States can be traced back to the founding of Harvard College in 1636. Harvard was molded after the Puritan institutions present in Europe and instilled the same mentorship type advising. Advisors were typically deans, clergymen, or other faculty who operated in loco parentis, essentially taking on the role of advisor, counselor, coach, and parent. This system worked relatively well until the 1870s due to the fact that the curriculum and programs of the school were mostly standardized. For the most part, all students who attended Harvard, for example, had very similar college careers. With the introduction of electives and pushback on the rigidity of the previous era, the defined era emerged in the 1870s. The presence of more electives meant that students needed more specialized help in choosing their classes, developing an academic plan, and reaching graduation. More extensive curriculum paired with an increase in enrollment meant that advisors needed to shift from a personal mentor position to a faculty position specializing in helping students achieve those goals. This led to the emergence of modern academic advising and the student personnel point of view. The need for a publication defining the goals of this new profession was necessary and helped to guide the future of academic advising and other student affairs roles. Despite the advancements of the defined era, we had yet to compare individual programs with each other and extrapolate information which would be useful in our own programs. A system of comparison, evaluation, and reflection was necessary to bring us into the present era of advising. Questions pertaining to what it meant to advise a student led to discussions on different methods of advising. Prescriptive advising traditionally sees the advisor as an expert who imparts guidance onto the student, whereas developmental advising sees the advisor as a partner who can help a student develop their own goals and interests. During the present era, many advisors have adopted a developmental approach. Furthermore, various models have been developed in regards to the administrative structures of advising.
Opportunities within academic advising depends heavily on the amount of support the department has through funding. The necessary training programs for advising, technology advances, and preparation for overall challenges as an advisor all require adequate funding for the institution, allocated to the Advising and Student Services Department specifically. Academic advising provides a culture of accelerated learning and engagement if advising support increases and if the institution shifts its stigmas of the role advising plays. Advising is essentially a method of teaching students. Opportunities for development programs to better inform student learning are being built to improve the delivery of academic advising for students. An important opportunity that comes with academic advising comes directly from learning from the student experiences themselves. This is essentially free training. The criticisms and notes from the students can provide guidance to improve the quality of academic advising in future opportunities. Increasing incentives and rewards for adequate or above and beyond advising also increases the quality of performance staff is willing to provide. Students themselves have opportunities within the department by being student peer mentors, taking on internships within student services and advising, as well as applying to be advisor assistants. There is an increasing amount of grant proposals for funding developmental programs and training assistance for academic advisors. This could and will be a game changer for the quality of service that could be provided.
All right, so next we're going to talk through current trends in academic advising, first of them being artificial intelligence or AI. I'm sure many, if not all of you, are familiar with AI and many other aspects in the world, both the good and the bad. But for academic advising, we see this rise of artificial intelligence being used as a really influential tool for student affairs in higher ed, not just academic advising. For our academic advisors, however, we see artificial intelligence as a way to help understand trends in student behavior, giving our advisors more time to respond to students individually. So, for example, the use of like a chat bot, which many of you are probably familiar with if you're on institution websites or even just general websites that have their chat that pops up. So artificial intelligence is really growing in academic advising as a useful tool. And of course, there are um, contingencies and potential traps in artificial intelligence, but it's a relatively newer conversation as artificial intelligence continues to develop. That leads us into technology and training. Um, in addition to just the artificial intelligence in general, we continue to see um, technology and programming develop at a rapid pace, and we need to provide our students and our advisors with the opportunity to have consistent training on this new technology so that they can, for lack of a better term, keep up with everything that's going on. With this technology and training, giving them the same information and the same access will give our advisors and students their best tools to continue developing, and we'll see them succeed in this way. This then builds on personalized relationship development. So essentially, this is a really hot button topic for our students and coming directly from students that they want to have a more personal relationship with those that are helping them through their college experience. Academic advisors specifically, we want to be able to build relationships with students so that it's not just a back and forth through email or text message of, hey, these are the classes you need to register for. If you have issues, let me know. And that's where the conversation ends. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing all of the tools and technology that we can to help build that relationship. Lastly, here for some current trends, and this kind of culminates everything into one saying, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this: it takes a village. A lot of institutions are recognizing that with the rising number of students on campus and the dwindling number of academic advisors or those able to step into that role dwindling, we need to work across campus interdepartmentally to really see our students succeed. So whether that's through AI, new technology and trainings, relationship development, programming on campuses, we really want to make sure that we are building that relationship with students, and then it's not just a one-on-one conversation during their academic career. Now, next, we take a look at some future issues involving academic advisors. And a lot of this is culminating all the conversations that we've talked about already. So, to start increasing caseloads, as we mentioned, as we see student enrollment rise and we see academic advisors, and again, those who are able to fill those roles, start to decrease, and that ratio between student and advisor fluctuates, we see the stress that academic advisors are being put under, and we see advisor burnout. So when they are handling more and more students with little help from their institutions on any kind of support, something like mental health services, or just overall relief from the number of students that they need to advise in an academic year, we see that advisor burnout starting to happen. So for this, we see a lot of institutions having conversations about staying on top of proactive outreach, which is really important for not only our advisors, but the institutions as well, to understand what do our advisors need, what do our students need, and how can we meet all of those to see everyone be successful. What technology are we using? Do we need to upgrade our technology and our training, and so on? And lastly, most likely not unfamiliar to most, kind of tied and weaved throughout all of these issues, would be budget restraints. So as we know, a lot of public institutions are seeing a decrease in funding they receive from the government. As you know, government can fluctuate and politicians decide where they want to send their money. We see that budget is going to kind of continue to tie into these issues, and we'll see more and more issues arise because of it. Academic advisors are so integral to student success on campuses across the country. We wanted to highlight just a couple of things that we found in our research in terms of how academic advisors really contribute to the overall success and completion for students in an undergraduate situation. So this is again referring to intentional academic intervention. So through the use of technology, that interrelationship building, how are academic advisors really communicating with students, being intentional about the conversations they have, the methods that they use to connect with students, knowing what students they need to interact with more over other students who kind of have a good handle on things. And that, again, builds into the meaningful relationship building. Academic advisors have a strong sense of who their students are. Building that relationship is really important. And then again, finalizing this thought on academic advising and it takes a village, connecting students with multiple resources across campus. So it's not just that one relationship. We see academic advisors connecting students with, if needed, mental health counseling services, with the financial aid office to understand their financial aid packages and so on. So academic advisors are really there from start to finish to help students navigate campus and everything that it takes to be successful for graduation. So as we close out our presentation on academic advising, we really wanted to stress that academic advisors are the backbone to student success, understanding that while we've had these conversations about it takes a village and connecting with other offices and services on campus, academic advisors are really important to the success of students on campus, as they are the main line of defense, so to speak, when they are working with the students that they are assigned to. So, as we close up on our conversation here, understanding that academic advising is a relatively new field with research starting to happen more intentionally now, we want to know how you would work with academic advisors in your current role to support their purpose and to see more student success on campus. So we look forward to hearing your thoughts in the discussion.